back. It's your boy Fresh.
And I'm Mary, and we are a Co-ople of nerds. And today we are going to be reviewing Prohibitionists, a game by Ed Turner. But before we begin, don't forget to give us a like, a subscribe, and follow us on Facebook. So, to get started, this is a 1 to 5 player game. It's 30 to 45 minutes, and it's for ages 8 and up.
Right, so this is a lightweight game, so it's nice for beginners. It is a card game in which you play the role cooperatively as prohibitionists trying to take down the mob. This game is another Kickstarter. This is exactly what Kickstarter was designed for. I know a lot of companies use Kickstarter and they don't really need it. You know, like CMON Games will use it, and their games were going to sell anyways.
Yeah.
This is made by a single dude. He might have had a team. I didn't see a company anywhere on here, and all the communications was just from this one Ed Turner. So it was really nice to see it fund, and we got it quickly, so I was very happy about that. So let's go ahead and jump into the categories. So first of all, we got story/theme. There's not really a story to this game. It's just a one-shot. There's no campaign, no overarching story. But the theme of working cooperatively as prohibitionists trying to take down the mob really came through a card game.
Yeah.
I would say typically card games kind of lack a little of that theme just because it's just a stack of cards. But this one, you really kind of feel it.
Yeah. I really felt like the theme played through in the cards a lot more prominently than it would in other card games that we've played. And I think one of the key reasons that is in a lot of other card games, the way that it's set up is maybe you're matching symbols, and so to match a symbol doesn't really make you feel the story. It doesn't involve you as much. But with this game, anytime you turn up a card or anytime you use a card, they're all different. Mm-hmm. I mean, there are some that are they're somewhat similar, but really they're all different. And so in order to know what you're going to do with it, you have to read it. And it's got a background, and the background actually plays into the card's ability. So I really felt like that's how the theme kind of forced itself to be heard while you played it.
Right. Yeah, we'll have a little more examples when we get into component/art. I can kind of show you guys a little bit clearer. So I guess we could just jump into component/art. So these are 2 of the 5 characters. We got a tax collector and a sharpshooter. And each character has its own power, so it has variable player powers that you can use until you exhaust your ability. And what that means is if you need 10 on a bribery, you can sort of cash in your character to get those 10 bribery points.
But then you lose your special ability.
Right, but then you can't use a special ability. So you're trying to take down the mob, and here's the weapons you have. This is Intel. It's a wild card, so it can go on any obstacle. And there are 5 main tools of 5 main tools you're going to use against the mob. So we got investigation, subterfuge, contacts, violence, bribery. So you can see that each one of those cards have a different number on it. Mm-hmm. And what those numbers rack up to is the obstacles, sort of the toughness they need to be defeated. So for this example, the rowdies cost 4. So if you play the 3, it's not enough to kill them. If you play the 9, you overkill them. Then there are all other types of obstacles, which sort of leads to what Mary was talking about, where you have to use certain tools to get rid of them.
So the boss cards or the obstacle cards have special abilities themselves, depending on which card it is, and there's quite a few different ones.
Yeah. So this one is an outpost. You have to use violence to take care of it. So you only get 5 cards in your hand. If you don't have violence, it's just going to sit out there and continue to generate more and more obstacles, because this one you draw an extra obstacle. Here we got the hired goon, which is immune to bribery. So you can use any card except bribery. Every once in a while you get a break and find a lucky bystander or scared citizen. Here we got the boss's cousin's kid. I just thought that one was pretty fun. Here we got a couple bosses. And I'm not showing you all of them, so that way there's still some surprises. This is the twins, so you gotta defeat them twice. Once at 10 and once at 14. And then here is the mayor. It says all players must immediately burn their highest valued card. It doesn't get replaced. So when he comes in, he really wrecks your hand. Basically, you stack all the obstacles, you shuffle them up, you take the boss card and put it 8th from the bottom, and then you have to go through that entire deck until you can defeat the boss. Some bosses will run away and hide, some of them will force their other remaining obstacles to come out. Like I said, the mayor destroys your hand, the twins have to be defeated twice.
And you only have so many resources with which to do this. So you're given a stack of resources, you have 5 cards in your hand, you utilize a card during your turn, you grab a new card, so you draw back up to 5, and if eventually you get to the point where you can't draw any more tools, then you lose.
Right, that's how the game will beat you. And you can only have 4 obstacles out on the table at a single time. If you were ever in need of drawing a 5th, you have to burn a card. So that means just take the top card of the tool deck and just discard it. So that's supposed to, thematically, the mob is pressing you so hard, you're having to waste resources just to stay afloat. So how you, another key, and I think this is the key to victory, is overflow. So, like I said earlier, if you put the 9 on that 4, you would have 5 left over. Any other card that had another, they're not called tools, but resource. That had another resource. So let's say you had this on the table. So you had used 3 power of contacts on the hired goon, who needs 7 total to defeat. And then you played the 9 on the 4 power rowdies. You would have 5 left over. You could carry that leftover, put it on here. It becomes a wild card, and then you could also defeat him.
So whenever you go to defeat an obstacle, you have to use the same method to get rid of them each time. So if you first attack them with subterfuge, you have to continue to use subterfuge, unless you have carryover from taking out another obstacle, in which case then it becomes wild.
Right, and the thought there is that if you bribed the rowdies with $2 and they weren't defeated, if you tried to bribe them again with $1, it's not going to work.
Right.
So then you got to
come
come
up. You have to
up.
go in order.
Then you could put a 5 on there and generate 3 overflow.
So the cards can continue to get bigger, but not smaller.
Correct.
And they have to go in that order.
Alright, so that's pretty much it for the gameplay or the components. The card quality I thought was really nice. They're nice and slick. They're thick. They're normal playing card size. They're not the little cards or the big tarot cards. And I really love this art style, the black and white with a single color.
Yeah.
I've always really loved that.
It's not overly ornate, but it still makes a statement, and it still kind of pulls you into that that era.
Right. Yeah. All right. So gameplay. What did you think of gameplay?
I like that it's a simple game. It's very straightforward, but again, also as we've said before, very thematic. So I had a lot of fun, really feeling like just with a deck of cards that we were taking out the mob.
Yeah. Yeah. I really enjoyed this game. It's an entry game. It's not too long, which works really great for our schedule.
Yeah.
I would say it says 30 to 45 minutes. I would say we were doing them in about 20.
Yeah.
But we're only playing 2 players, so if you had 5, I could see it taking a little more time. But yeah, I thought it played
I think it
quick and
travels
easy.
well. I think this would be a good
Yep.
game to travel well somewhere.
portable.
Because it's just a deck of cards that's in your pocket.
Yeah. Just throw that in a purse, put it in a pocket. Might stick out a little bit in the pockets.
Yeah, a little
but throw that in a purse or backpack real easily. So all of our reviews, we put the games into one of 3 categories. Play, which means it hits the table as often as possible. Display, which means you keep it on the shelf and break it out when the mood strikes. And stay away means you leave it at the store for someone else to get. And for us, Prohibitionists is a play. This game is great. It's exactly what Kickstarter was meant for. Not these big companies throwing out pre-selling games. A guy named Ed Turner had an idea for a game. It got the funding. He put it out there. It's great. I look forward to seeing what Ed Turner has in the future. Hopefully this will be a launching point and he can start doing bigger games. I'll definitely keep my eyes open for his future projects.
So yeah, it's definitely one we'll be bringing out again.
That's right. We'll see you next time.
Thanks, guys.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
You're working for the mob. I saw that drink. Dice Tower Retreat just got canceled.
So much for our honeymoon.
Yeah, probably just throw the whole wedding away now.
I guess. No time at the beach alone without children. Where's your beer, honey?
When you're trying to take down the mob, no hooch. You ready?
Mm-hmm.